everybody, and welcome into the Reality Show, where we take a little bit about real estate, a little bit about reality, we mix it all together and try and make just a little bit of sense out of the world. And the concept we're going to try and make sense out of today is average house prices. As real estate cycles, you'll hear people talk about average house prices. And typically it's people like maybe politicians or people in the media, someone in a community who either likes or dislikes something that's happening locally, and they'll use the idea of how it's going to impact on average house prices to either make their argument for or against whatever the change is. In plain English, it's people who have absolutely no idea what they're talking about trying to sound like experts. And I think it can be very misleading and very harmful to ordinary families that are trying to make decisions about the largest investment of their lives. And I'd like to try and help people understand that a little bit better. And in order to do that, the first thing we have to do is understand what an average is, and then see how it applies, or if it applies, to real estate and home values. So when we think about averages, we think about being in school, and the math teacher teaches a class, then gives the class a test, and then the math teacher can add up all the test results and divide by the number of tests that were taken and come up with a class average. And in that particular set of circumstances, it makes absolute sense. It can tell you lots of stuff, how well the students are learning, how well the teacher's communicating the concepts. There's a lot of things that you can take from that information, but there's several conditions that have to exist in order for that information to be reliable and reasonable. The first condition is everyone wrote the same exam. Imagine if the teacher had walked down the hall of the school randomly and just took one test out of each class without regard to the subject or the grade or the student, just took one test from each class. In theory, that teacher could add up all the test results divided by the number of tests that were taken and come up with an average for those tests. But would that information be useful to anybody for anything? The answer is probably not. So in order for an average to make sense, it has to be based on the same thing, the same test, the same commodity. The second circumstance that has to exist is all the kids wanted to pass. Now, certainly some more than others, but you wouldn't assume that any of those students would go into the classroom intentionally trying to do badly. Everyone has the same desire, the same goal, or the same motivation. So in order for an average to make sense and give you factual information you can base something on, you have to have the same subject, the same commodity, and the same motivation. How does that equate to real estate? Well, think about it. All houses are the same. What is crazy talk? I mean, that's beyond even making sense. So all houses are not the same. What about all buyers and sellers have the same motivation? On the surface, that may make sense, but imagine a family where dad's lost his job, he's been downsized, and there's an opportunity in another city where he can pick up his life and start moving forward again. Is it possible that if the market was slow, that family may choose to market their house way below the value it would appear to have in order to facilitate a sale so they can move forward with their life in the new city and in the new job? The answer is yes, it happens all the time. And can you imagine a buyer paying more than they think the house is worth? Again, no matter what time of day or year you're watching this video, check out the Toronto market. You'll find that somewhere around the GTA someone's doing exactly that. And they do it because they want to buy a house in a certain neighborhood. It may be because of the school, it could be because of the jobs, it could be close to family, but there's no houses available. And then the right house comes along, a perfect house comes on the market. That buyer, if they have the means, if they're able to do it, will gladly pay, and often pays well over what they know the house is worth, in order to get the house they want when it's available. And so you see, with the houses, in terms of averages, it's not based on the same thing, and the motivation is never the same. So the data gets all skewed. If you're concerned about the value of your home, you want to speak to a real estate agent, someone who's in the market and can compare your house with houses that are like yours. When people shop, they shop for houses that are similar to each other, houses that meet their needs. So you want to find out what people are paying for houses like yours in your community. A professional realtor can tell you that. The next time someone wants to have a conversation with you about average house prices and how it's impacting you, just say, whoa, 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 before you do that, please explain to me the average weight of fruit. Then after they've done that, have them explain to you the average height of trees. And then, only then, if they can do those two things, have them talk to you about average house prices. Doesn't make any sense. If you're thinking of making a change in your real estate, talk to a real estate professional. If you're east of Toronto along the lakeshore, that would probably be me. But talk to somebody. It's a really big decision. You need professional help. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Tune in again next time for the next episode of The Reality Show. Cheers.